The time is 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Ramesh Piris and read by Tilani Piris. A special presidential commission to enact the recommendations by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into political victimization. The Sri Lanka Ports Authority declared as an essential public service. Premier Rajapaksa reiterates his stance with regard to the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port. More COVID-19 recoveries push the total past 57,000. Professor Atula Senaratne says it is high time to probe tremors felt in Kandy to avert a major disaster. All zoological gardens, parks open from tomorrow. And on international news, the UK starting new visa for Hong Kong residents. Sports cricket, Bangladesh's Shakib in doubt for the New Zealand tour. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has appointed a special presidential commission to enact the recommendations in the final report by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into political victimization. An extraordinary gazette notification was issued signifying the appointment of the commission. The commission will be chaired by Supreme Court Judge Dhammika Priyantha Samarakonja Vadana. The commission comprises Supreme Court Judge Kumuduni Wickramasinghe and Appeals Court Judge Ratnapriya Gurusinghe. The Presidential Commission of Inquiry entrusted with the task of inquiring into political victimization and associated backgrounds between the 8th of January 2015 and the 16th of November 2019 handed over its final report to President Rajapaksa recently. An extraordinary gazette was issued today declaring the services of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority as essential services. The gazette signed by the President, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, was issued by President's Secretary. He states that all services, work or labour of any description necessary or required to be done by or in connection with the SLPA would be declared as essential services. The Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa stated that no decision has been taken to hand over the management of the Eastern Container Terminal of the Colombo port in whole or in part to a foreign company. The Premier made this comment during a media briefing at his residence in Carlton House. Premier Rajapaksa reiterated that his stance and the Cabinet's position with regard to the Eastern Container Terminal of the Colombo port that it is not up for sale or long-term lease agreements with an external country. He further said the port will be managed by the Sri Lankan government and stressed that carrying out industrial action by trade unions at present is a futile exercise. Prime Minister Rajapaksa noted that the unions and the opposition party is well aware of the fact that the port is not up for sale or lease. He reassured that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's stance on the matter remains the same as his and the Cabinet. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Ministry of Health says that another 882 patients who had previously tested positive for COVID-19 have recovered and discharged from the hospital within the last 24 hours. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country to 57,159. A total of 63,293 cases of coronavirus have been reported in Sri Lanka so far, while 5,821 of them are currently under medical care. Sri Lanka's deaths toll due to the virus stands at 313. Meanwhile, the Oxford AstraZeneca's Covishield vaccine have been administered to 100 police officers who are engaged in frontline duties in the fight against COVID-19 transmission. The police officers were inoculated with Covishield vaccine under the first stage at the Narayanpeta Police Hospital in the presence of Public Security Minister Sarath Weerasekara. The Dehiwala Zoo, Pinnawala Elephant Orphanage, Pinnawala Zoo and Ridiyagama Safari Park under the Department of National Zoological Gardens, which have been closed due to COVID-19 pandemic, will be reopened from tomorrow. The State Minister Wimalaveera Dissanayake said the zoological gardens and parks would be reopened under strict health guidelines, and moreover, local and overseas tourists would not be allowed to visit on the same day or time. The Deputy Director of the National Zoological Gardens, Renuka Bandaranayake, said that these facilities will be open to local tourists on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays of the week, and to foreigners on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. The health services directors of the north and eastern provinces say that they have received 25,090 COVID vaccines. Accordingly, the Northern Provincial Director of Health Services, Dr. Arumugan Ketheeswaran said 11,080 COVID vaccines have been received, and the Eastern Provincial Health Services Director, Dr. Alagaya Lathakaran, said that 14,010 vaccines have been received for the continuation of the vaccination program. That ends the local news for now.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vedha Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya.
The senior lecturer at the Department of Geology of the Science Faculty at the University of Peradeniya, Professor Atula Senaratne, says the continuous occurrence of tremors is not a good sign. He said this after a minor earth tremor measured up to 2 points on the Richter scale was reported from Nuwara district this morning by the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau. The tremor has been felt in the Valapane area in Nuwara. Professor Senaratne noted that the recurrence of tremors means there is a prominent geological phenomenon in the respective area that needs to be looked into. He further stated that such small tremors are at times followed by greater tremors, and therefore informed decisions should be taken and made, and emphasize it is high time to conduct an in-depth inspection into these recurring tremors before a major catastrophe. That came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedha Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And on Watch Light this evening, a gazette notification has been issued by the Ministry of Environment to prohibit the use of 2 polythene packing products for agrochemicals and single-use sachet packets. As per the gazette, the use of polythene, terephthalate or polyvinyl chloride material for packing agrochemicals for any process, trade or industry has been prohibited. The decision will be in effect from the 31st of March 2021. That came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines first. The UK starting new visa for Hong Kong residents. Trump's impeachment defense team leaves less than 2 weeks before trial. The UK to apply to join TPP. The British government is set to begin accepting applications for a new visa by Hong Kong residents who hold British National Overseas or BNO status. The UK government announced a plan to introduce the new visa system for BNO holders after the Chinese government imposed the national security law for Hong Kong last year. Under the new system, a special visa will be issued to people who were born in Hong Kong before the 1997 handover to China and hold BNO status as well as their eligible family members. Online applications will be available starting today. Holders of the new visa will be able to study and work in Britain. After 5 years in the country, with the visa, they will be able to apply for settlement followed by British citizenship. The former President Donald Trump's 5 impeachment defense attorneys have left a little more than a week before his trial is set to begin, according to people familiar with the case, amid a disagreement over his legal strategy. It was a dramatic development in the second impeachment trial for Trump, who has struggled to find lawyers willing to take his case. And now with legal briefs due next week and a trial set to begin only days later, Trump is clinging to his election fraud charade and suddenly finds himself without legal representation. The British government says it will apply to join the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPP, to expand and deepen its trade links with the Asia-Pacific region. British International Trade Secretary Elizabeth Truss is to formally make the request after holding talks with her counterparts from Japan and New Zealand tomorrow. Japan is the chair country and New Zealand serves as the depository for the 11-member TPP, also known as the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership. Back to the world news headlines. The UK starting new visa for Hong Kong residents. Trump's impeachment defense team leaves less than 2 weeks before trial. The UK to apply to join TPP. That ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Now on development news, Sri Lanka and Vietnam had agreed to work on a free trade deal and advance cooperation in fisheries and agriculture at a meeting between the island's foreign minister and the Southeast Asian nation's envoy to Colombo. Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and outgoing Vietnam ambassador agreed that in order to advance trade relations between the two countries, it is important to pursue a preferential trade agreement. Ambassador Burke Nock had offered to share best practices, knowledge and technology transfer in fisheries and agriculture. Minister Gunawardena had sought assistance in the canning industry, especially fish canning and fish feed production. That came to you in development news. Continuing with sports news, cricket, Bangladesh's Shakib in doubt for the New Zealand tour. Star all-rounder Shakib Al Hasan is a major doubt for Bangladesh's tour of New Zealand next month because of injury and personal reasons. Shakib returned to international cricket after a one-year ban for failing to report corruption approaches with one-day series against West Indies that ended on Monday. He scored 113 runs and claimed 6 wickets to win the Player of the Series award. But Shakib limped off the field during Monday's 120-run win with a growing problem. Bangladesh had been counting on Shakib for the tour in February and March as they have never beaten the Kiwis in New Zealand. They will play 3 one-day internationals and 3 T20 internationals during the series. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
As part of its commitment in bringing ease and flexibility to potential homeowners in Sri Lanka, John Keel's Properties has inked a partnership with DFCC Bank to supplement the property developers' groundbreaking Freedom Mortgages Home Finance Scheme. Being the first of its kind in the country, this mortgage plan is offered to potential homeowners looking at investing in John Keel's Properties' upcoming Tri-Zen residential development, with DFCC Bank now playing a significant role in alleviating customers' home loan burdens. That's business news.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
A 10% increase in pepper imports from Sri Lanka in December has left the Indian domestic pepper industry worried, especially at a time when there is a shortage of containers and vessels. In December 2020 alone, 822 tons of pepper were imported against 80 tons in December 2019. Kishore Shamji, Indian pepper and spice traders, growers, planters, consortium coordinator said the imports came at 8% customs duty from Sri Lanka under the South Asian Free Trade Area and duty-free under Indo-Sri Lanka Free Trade Agreement with license from the Directorate General of Foreign Trade. That is the end of economic news. Coming up, the weather report.
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finally, the weather report. The Meteorology Department forecasts showers in the northern, northeastern, north central, Uva provinces and in Matale, Nuwara and Hambantota districts. The Met Department states fairly heavy falls, about 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in the eastern province and in Polonnaruwa, Matale and Mullaitivu districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the western, Sabragam and northwestern provinces and in Gaul, Matara and Kandy districts in the evening. Heavy falls above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places. That was the weather report, and now to in this news broadcast the main points once again. A special presidential commission to enact the recommendations by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into political victimization. The Sri Lanka Ports Authority declared as an essential public service. Premier Rajapaksa reiterates his stance with regard to the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port. More COVID-19 recoveries push the total past 57,000. Professor Atula Senaratne says it is high time to probe tremors felt in Kandy to avert a major disaster. All zoological gardens, parks open from tomorrow. And on international news, the UK is starting new visa for Hong Kong residents. And on sports news cricket, Bangladesh's Shakib in doubt for the New Zealand tour. That ends this news broadcast. And now it's back to my good friend as well as yours, Mario Vijayavardhana, on this Sunday evening.